All right, good morning. I'm David Hersman. I'm not usually making videos about upgrading a computer, but that's what I'm going to be sharing with you a little bit today. I'm doing some upgrades on a Dell Inspiron 1500. It's a model number 3593, and it was originally 8 gigabytes of RAM, and it had a Western Digital 512 gigabyte solid state drive. And I've done some of my updates, and I wanted to share some things with you. I do a lot of videos about other things, aviation and Christian ministry and so forth. So I wanted more speed and more space to store videos in the production stage and so forth and finish stage in my computer. I'm going to share some things with you that I learned that will be helpful to you probably, and keep this pretty short. Before I go very far though, I want to say that I've watched a fellow named Dale. He's at Cadillac Computer Center. He's online, has a lot of videos online, and he is much more advanced in this stuff than I am, and more than I will ever be. So I would advise you, if you are planning on doing some video, or if you're planning on doing some computer upgrades, by all means watch Dale on YouTube at Cadillac Computer Center, and he'll give you some good work advice, guidance, work habits, procedures, tools. He's a good guy to get some good ideas from. So and I'll try to put a link in the description there. This is the little solid state drive that was in this computer originally, and from Dale at Cadillac Computer Center, he recommended copying your drive on to your new drive using a little USB adapter like this, and I'll put a better picture there of that. And all these little SSDs will fit on here, and different lengths, but the longer one I put in was 80. Now, it's already in this computer, it's working fine, everything went well, but at first I tried to use a program called Macrium Reflect, using this and that software to copy or clone this little drive. And I took about 14 hours to do that, and then it failed. After I experimented a little to see if I could retrieve that and not go through all that again, I decided to use the Samsung Magician software, I think it is called. And some people on YouTube were claiming that you had to be copying Samsung to Samsung in order for that to work, but others said no, just your target or your destination drive had to be Samsung. So I downloaded the free version of the Samsung software. I used it with this adapter, USB adapter, and if I remember right, it took about an hour and 8 minutes to clone this to the new drive, and I installed it, and it has worked fine. Everything went well, and it has worked fine. I've been using it for maybe about 3 weeks now. So the Macrium Reflect did not work for me, but going from using Samsung, going from Western Digital to Samsung with the free Samsung software, that did work excellently. So anyhow, today I'm going to install another Samsung 2 terabyte drive. It's going to go in the empty place in here, and I'm going to open that and show it to you. And if you want more advice on how to open these things and so forth, watch Dale at Cadillac Computer Services. He gives you. I have opened the computer now, and I used one of these little guitar pick-like tools recommended by Dale that I mentioned to you. and it has a little ridge there, so you can't go in too deep with it, and very, very helpful thing for opening tight places like that, getting the bottom off of the computer. This is where I've already added 8 gigabytes of RAM, bringing the total up to 16, and that went very easy and very well. Underneath this blue stripe is where I have replaced this small solid state drive from Western Digital with a larger one, and I used the cloning tool recommended by Dale as well for that, and that went very well. I think that thing cost about $20 or $22 and really made the job simple, and so that is in there and it's functioning. Next thing I'm going to do here is disconnect the battery. So the battery is disconnected. Then one little trick I learned from Dale, and some others do this, so I do it, and that is push your power button 3 or 4 times just to help get rid of any residue of electricity that might be floating around in there anywhere, and so the batteries get disconnected. Now I'm going to put my new drive over here in an empty spot that has not been occupied in times past, and that is this Samsung drive that I got. And I think I kind of get the idea that some things about Samsung are a little better than some of the others, but I'm sure there's people that disagree with that. But you can kind of shop around and find what's a good price, and this will connect right up here. I think it's already connected to the motherboard. So there's a little cartridge here that I have to take out and plug that in, put it all back in there, and there are 4 screws in this little holder. So, and another thing Dale suggested was putting your screws on a magnetized surface like this so they don't go rolling around. I've done that working on other things, put them in a magnetized bowl or something, but this does work good for this. Here's the little cartridge I took out. Here's screws to use to fasten this flimsy little cartridge, you might say, over the drive. So that's going to fit great. Yep. So there's something to pay attention to. This side with all this information goes up. The nice looking package side goes down because it has to match up. These connectors have to match up with this connector. That went right in. I have put the 4 screws in the sides, holding this holding the new drive in the cartridge, and then I'm going to place it in here. So, and the screws were supplied with the Dell cartridge or carrier. They did not come with the drive. There was no drive at this location at all in here, so I thought with that empty space, this would be a good place to utilize that with more storage. So this is a 2 terabyte, and this drive I put under here is 2 terabyte. This one was 512, so the stuff I cloned from this to this only took up about 1/4 of the space on there. So I have a good bit of empty space there, and I'll have a good bit of... Okay, that new drive, which is a Samsung 870 QVO SATA drive, 2.5 inch, and 2 terabytes, it is installed. Now, of course, nothing will work unless we reconnect the battery. And that's not hard to do, just get it in place and push it gently. Looks like It's back in there good. So I've made the upgrades on here. I've added 8 gigabytes of RAM. I've updated this by up to 2 terabytes. The battery is in place. This battery doesn't hold a charge real good. I might put a new one in. And so this is in place. So it's time to put the cover back on. And I'm going to snap that in place and put these, snap around the edge. Don't push back in the middle very hard. And I'm going to put these screws on the hinge side. I'm going to go ahead and put them down. It was all installed. I did have to do an activation process, which didn't take very long, which I went through the disk management tool and followed some steps and next and filled in a couple little things. And so it's working. The new double terabyte solid state drive is working in that place where there had never been a drive before. So I have a lot more storage space now. And if I go to the place that just says this PC, I will do that. And there it shows both of my drives, the C drive with my operating system on it, and the new Samsung drive, which I just installed today, with 1.81 terabytes available. Thanks for watching. Be sure to watch Dale's videos and it'll help you on these. Have a blessed day.